All right, my friends, how are you today? Aaron here bringing you the full moon horoscope for September the 10th, 2022. We got a full moon in the sign of Pisces. That means our sun is over there in the sign of Virgo right now. Virgo, the analytical sign, the earth sign that says everything has a name, everything has a place, everything, there's a right and wrong, and we're the ones that get to decide what is right and what is wrong. This sun, not quite conjunct to Venus, but Venus is there and creeping in up on the sun, which means Virgo in Venus, Venus in Virgo, one of the harder placements in astrology. It's on the opposite of its place where it likes to be the most, which is in Pisces. We have the moon over in Pisces with Neptune, the ruling planet of Pisces, a loose conjunction going on there. What are these all talking about? Let me show you the chart here. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So here's our sun at 17 degrees 41 space minutes. This is happening at 6 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So depending where you're at in the world. This could be happening early in the morning for us or later this evening as I'm putting this out here on Friday. Depending where you're at. So over here, the earth sign of Virgo, this is the flowers and the trees that bloom and blossom every year and go inward to the autumn seasons. All right, it's the way we look at the earth sign of Virgo. Now, Venus is our planet of love, wants, and desires. So when everything that we want, love, and desire has a critical perspective, a critical lens put on it, it becomes quite challenging, as if we set the bar so high for ourselves and so high for other people that it becomes unobtainable. That's why Venus loves to be in the sign of Pisces, because there's no measurement on love. Venus over here in the sign of Virgo means it's conditional. Means that there's a finite number. You get so many chances before we pull our love away. You get so many opportunities before this door closes, this window closes, and we can become very hardened and jaded, if you want. On the other side of that coin, true love is the aroma a flower gives off when it's stepped on. It's truly unconditional. It doesn't matter if you pluck that flower and smell it, if you pluck that flower and give it to a human being that you love, if you use it in a bouquet, if you put it in your hair, if you crush it and put it into a tea or a perfume, or you step on it. The flower doesn't matter. The flower is simply being a flower, and its objective is to bloom, to blossom, to give that sweet aroma. So again, this is when our judgmental mind comes in here and says, well, we didn't do this, or you stepped on it, you didn't care for it, you didn't care for this thing, and now there's a cause and effect. There's a karmic reaction to whatever we are doing or not doing with ourselves, with our time. Again, it's yes or no. This Virgo energy, like we talked about in the new moon, we're saying yes to this experience, no to this experience. And later on, in the sign of Libra is when the balancing scales get to weigh out, which Mercury is in the balancing sign of Libra right now, and it's stationed retrograde, which means for the next 3 weeks it's going to retrograde. We're going to talk about that more in a moment. We'll come back to this full moon here. The moon opposite the sun in the sign of Pisces. We often look at the left brain is Virgo, right brain is Pisces. Forgiveness, compassion, understanding, a certain amount of care is a water sign. It's emotional. Okay, and in the left side, this is everything has its right and a wrong, and it's up and down. And if we don't see the same perspective, if you're not standing on this side of the line as far as my views of astrology, my views of God, my views of life, my views of love, then that means you're on the opposite side. That means you're not in my tribe. That means you're not in my circle. We don't see eye to eye, and we can never. This is our judgmental mind kind of taking over, being magnified. Now, we have the emotional moon in the sign of Pisces, which is saying, forgive, my friends, forgive. And, that's he who has not sinned cast the first stone kind of thing. It's just like being less critical of other people and seeing that we align ourselves, that we manifest one another, that we manifest a perfect example or representation of who we are through our peers, through our lovers, through our friends, through our our enemies. There's a common denominator, there's a common modality between yourself, ourselves, and every individual in our environment. And it's up to us to find those things. And when we look at the Virgo side of things, when we look at these individuals and say, that person, and that's what I don't like about this person, odds are pretty good what's being illuminated in this full moon right now, this full illumination, and this close conjunct over here to Neptune, which just like Jupiter acts as that magnifying glass of our emotions. It's saying, my friends, like, take a break, take a pause from our judgments, looking into the mirror and seeing what part of that individual is also a representation of myself. And am I going to give myself enough time to relax? Am I, the 12th house here, Pisces, is like the end. This is the end of a long journey before we begin a new journey. It's the end of summer here in north of the equator. It's the end of winter south of the equator. It's the end of a journey before a new journey begins. And this conjunction, loose conjunction here to Neptune, is asking us to find a greater purpose to forgive, a greater purpose, our nurturing, caring moon, which rules the sign of Cancer. To love, connect with our family, to connect with our peers, to connect with those individuals that we really care about, and being less critical. Aside from that, there's a lot of connections that are going on here. If we follow this right up here, this in conjunction or quincunx, a 5/12 aspect to Saturn. Okay, this is pretty big. This is very meaningful here in this full moon. Because Virgo is the 6th house. It's the house of service. It's also the house of health caretakers, things like that. We want to be of service to one another. It is our earthly duty to be of service, not just to ourselves, but to mankind. And we have to take care of our health. All right. Now Saturn, this conjunction, or this in conjunction to Saturn, this quincunx to Saturn. Saturn rules the bones. And it's in the community sign of Aquarius, and Aquarius rules our nervous system. So one of these things is taking care of our teeth. It's an odd thing, but, well, not really. I mean, we're humans. We have to take care of our teeth. But to talk about this in the sense of astrology, it's something that's coming up right now, is taking care of our health. Our teeth being one of those, is it deals with nerves, it deals with bone. And they don't regrow, they don't regenerate, they don't refuse. Like if we break a bone, it's something very different. It's kind of like a heart, we get this one. So it's like being mindful of our teeth, being mindful of our bodies right now, being mindful of our nervous system. Are we spending too much time in technology? Are we spending too much time on social media, too much time distracting ourselves from nature, from the elements that are around us, drinking in the beautiful sunsets, drinking in the beautiful sunrises, the wind on our cheeks, connecting with nature. Nature heals. Nature always has a cure for us. So if we're spending too much time with technology, too much time thinking that the answer is outside of self, that the answer is over here, and if it's in this community event, this is big. There's like always two things going on. We can have like a whole week of nothing happening, and then all of a sudden we have, there's Saturday night, and I get to choose. I can either be here or I can be here. This is kind of the beauty of this full moon. And it's like, well, maybe we can't do both. Maybe we can. Maybe we can figure out a way to manage both of them. But if we choose to go down path A, to not be constantly thinking and over analyzing, being over analytical, that Virgo energy in our mind, that, I should have gone to B. So it's kind of forgetting about this grass is greener on the other side mentality, and saying, I'm going to be present. I'm going to be happy with wherever I'm at. I'm going to be happy in this environment that I chose to be here. I chose this job, or I chose this community event, or whatever it may be, this concert over this party, or maybe it's staying at home. Yeah, with this full moon in Pisces. As it's coming back home, taking time for ourselves. Whatever the answer is for you, it's the right answer, is the point. And it doesn't matter if your friends are like, oh my God, you missed the greatest event of the year. It's like, well, don't let them guilt trip you into that. And we can even define our boundaries, okay, with so much earth energy here, creating a trine over here to Uranus and to the North Node about our in a sense, this is Cancer is home, but this is really deals with our the actual physical manifestation of home here in Taurus. These are the things that the structures that allow us to be safe structures. This is my home environment. This is my vehicle. We take ownership and possessions over these things that we value. Also creating a septile over here to Neptune, which is saying more of what? Find more ways of being comfortable in the uncomfort. Find different radical ways of making money. And if we're constantly out in the world, we got a square here to Saturn. If we're constantly out in the world appeasing everybody else's, you should be doing this and you should be doing that, and we got to go to this event, maybe take time for yourself, or take time doing what makes sense to you, for you, to create an abundance, Neptune here, to your environment that allows you to be safe structures, safe boundaries. So if somebody is giving us this guilt trip of, oh, you should come out because of this, and that, and the other, and it's up to you. This is up to you. You're the individual. You're the sovereign being that gets to decide here on what's right or wrong for you. And then we can communicate and bring balance into our friendships, balance into our relationships, balance into our families. Say, hey, this is the decision I made. Please don't guilt trip me for my decision. Thank you. I can compassionately understand that you wanted my presence in the environment. I'm honored for those reasons. I'm honored that you wanted to have me out there, or that you wanted me to go to place A, but my heart needed to go to place B. And I knew that's where I needed to be. And I don't want this outside source telling me that I should have done something different. I don't need my analytical mind telling me that I should have gone someplace other than the place that I was led to be. And whatever that means. If that's staying at home to take care of our business, if that business is creating something. It's just like the painter is not always out. Oh yeah, I'm going to bring the painting with me to the club so we can dance and we can paint. It's like that. Those two things don't line up. It's impossible. Well, I'm going to bring my laptop out to the concert and handle some business affairs here while we're at the middle of this show. It's like those don't coincide of the same space. So it's up to us to determine right now, where our energy is spent best. And it's up to us to not be mad at ourselves, to forgive ourselves, this Pisces full moon, to forgive ourselves for being self-critical, that we should be further along than what we are, or forgiving ourselves for saying I have to always be business mindset. Let's flip the page here. If I've always business, always avoiding going out to the club, always avoiding going out to the social event, always avoiding going out to the community event because I'm so focused on my business. Don't be upset with ourselves during this time. And maybe this, again, the role flips. Maybe we're not upset at ourselves for putting the work down, for allowing ourselves to go out into the world, to experience community, to experience the end of summer or the end of winter, this new beginning that's happening here, right? It's the end of a cycle. That's part of the beauty of this full moon here. It's an end of a cycle, beginning of a new one. And we get to decide the steps that we're taking to move forward. And with this trine again to Neptune, or to Uranus and to the North Node, it means we're making radical decisions. Maybe we always veered left. Maybe we always did this one thing. Maybe this is how we always... it's like wipe your butt with the other hand. That sounds so funny to say, but it's like saying don't be afraid to switch things up. See what happens when you do something differently. Maybe that's not the best example, but maybe it is. Maybe we've got a back problem and just doing this and wiping with the left hand, all of a sudden it's like, wow, I'm actually seeing a difference now in my body's posture. I got to take care of my health, take care of my body. But it's like don't be upset with ourselves for making a radical decision if we're always doing things this way, and if we're stuck, especially if we're a fixed sign right now. Taurus, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Leo, fixed signs. If we're fixed energy, and it's just like, I wake up at this time, then this is what I eat for breakfast, and then I have my routine. It's like, that's not how nature grows. Routine is wonderful. I'm never going to talk negative about it. Routine is wonderful. But the trees don't all grow in a perfect line. The flowers don't grow all in this perfect thing and all bloom at the same times. Some are still, closed up while others are blossoming. This is the beauty and chaos of life. And it's like saying maybe it's time to be a little bit more chaotic. Not in a negative way, not in a bad way, saying just getting, sloshed and irresponsible with ourselves. I mean, this is Virgo after all. Responsibility is extremely key. We're putting in the work, whatever the work would be. So if the work is we've been so busy, focused, and fixated on our work and our business, maybe we take a radical decision and go be social. Maybe if we're social all the time and we're escaping and evading the responsibilities, maybe this is a great time to be more responsible and take care of our project that we've been working on. Slow and steady wins this race when it comes to this Taurus energy. Maybe we have to take care of, our house. Maybe it's time to clean the gutters, to clean, it's just like this spring cleaning in a sense is kind of coming for those south of the equator, and for us to the north, it's like the autumn, the fall is coming, the leaves are going to fall, all these things are happening. So it's time to pay attention to our house and to take care of our environment here that provides comfort and safety for us. This is a very, very powerful full moon. There's a lot of elements, a lot of aspects going on here. Mars in the sign of Gemini, which is our planet of action. How are we going after? How are we going after those things that we love and desire? If we're very specific. Now here, we're talking about both of those things here. Let's talk about it. If we have a high set of standards, that's okay. It's when we lower the bar, when we're lowering our standards, isn't always in alignment with our highest self. So having a high standard is extremely good. It's valuable for us. Venus in the sign of Virgo, having a high set of standards. And when we, it's like grabbing the apple from the lowest point of the tree versus willing to climb the tree to get the apple that's kissed by the sun. Those who are willing to go up there, willing to take the risk, willing to fall, are going to have a greater reward. You know what I'm saying? So it's not going after the low-hanging fruit, not lowering our bar to go after low-hanging fruit just simply because it's available. Maybe we've been single for a very long time. All right? Maybe we've been working on a project for so long, and at this point of just saying, like, I want to just push it out to the world. I just want to get it done with. It's okay to have that high standard, that high bar right now. And with Mars and Gemini creating a couple of connections here, creating a trine over here to Mercury retrograde, again, we'll talk about that in a second, but creating this septile over here to the south node. This is an emotional reaction. Okay, we're having an emotional reaction. Why do we want what we want right now? Does it deal with the money that's going to come once we're done with this? Once I get the album done, then I'll have the money. Once I have this partnership, then we can have, we can join forces and maybe live together or have that emotional comfort and companionship. And it's just like, look, we got a square going on here. Mars is squaring Venus. Not everything is going to happen fast. I want that flower to bloom right now. Well, Mars is saying it's not necessarily going to happen right now, that slow and steady wins this race. And just like we talked about 2 weeks ago for the new moon here in Virgo, Mars and Gemini is like that Scooby-Doo, the ghost goes in this door and the team chases it, then the ghost goes in the other door and the team chases it. And we seem that we're in this house of mirrors, that we're in that M.C. Escher crazy stairs drawing or sketching. Where it's just like up is down, down is left, right is sideways. And it's just like, it's okay. We're going to figure it out one step at a time. And maybe reevaluating what we're doing is just the key, which brings us to this Mercury retrograde here in the sign of Libra. Well, what is fair? What is balance? Am I out of balance by telling my friends, my family, that it's not right, that I don't appreciate being told, oh, I should have been here when I know I needed to be here, or missing this event because I had to work, or whatever it may be, whatever the scenario may be. That's in balance. Mercury in Libra is about balance and balancing communication. I see a lot of communication about goddesses, respecting the divine feminine. I empower the divine feminine. Now, just the same does the divine feminine who calls one another goddesses, do they call the masculine God? Or do they talk down upon the masculine as they're beneath? Well, that's certainly not fair. That's certainly not balanced. So we have to bring things to a communication of balance. And Mercury right now, that's retrograding all the way back to 24 degrees of Virgo, it's saying we have to refigure this balance out. If we are the ones manifesting the individuals in our lives based on the law of attraction, a very real law, we're a magnet, and what our mind is producing, how we perceive the world, literally shapes it. There is no outside world without the mind entering into it first. Okay, this is beautiful because this is the Virgo full moon, which deals with our left and right minds. So our left mind says, I'm going to quit, I'm going to give up, this never worked before, all men are terrible people, or all women are just going after money, or whatever it may be. These aren't my views, this is just something I'm sharing. If our mind is made up this way, well, we have an opportunity right now, not only with this Mercury retrograde in Libra, to balance things out, but to start thinking with our right brain and emotionally aligning with the right brain. And just as Mars is creating the septile, which is saying, look, this is healing by not just forcing the flower to open, by allowing this release of emotions, this release, this communication of what is right. Mercury rules the mind. Mercury, ruling planet of Virgo and Gemini. So our love, our desires, the things that we're going after, our actions, the sun, the point of illumination right now, it's all dealing with the mind, and we have to bring balance to this. So knowing that we are a law of attraction, that we attracted the negative X into our life, and we're also the one that made the decision to cut off that relationship and find forgiveness within ourselves, compassion within ourselves, not allowing us to fixate on that person is this. Again, every time we point the finger this way, we got three fingers pointing back at us. We manifested that toxic relationship into our lives of whatever that may be. So that means there's something within ourselves that align with that. Here's a fun way to look at this. The blues musician, if I'm going to sing and play the blues, that's a dedication. I am committed at this point to sing and play the blues. The blues is a frequency. The blues is a mentality. Now, the blues is not known for being happy, uplifting music. There's some really beautiful blues songs, but for the most part, the frequency of blues is about sadness or dismay or discomfort or something has you in the blues, okay? So for the blues musician to be a blues musician, they have to constantly align themselves with being a blues player. They have to constantly look and seek out things that align with them. Now, the same goes for depression. We can look this stuff up. When scientific studies through a depressed individual get hard on ourselves, hard on our environment, hard on the people around us, as maybe potentially a cynical observation through our mind's eye, through life, for our view. And there's like, okay, here's a person not depressed, not dealing with depression. Here's a person dealing with depression. And here's this category of photos. They're going to look through these photos and they'll pick photos that align best with themselves. Here's a group of music, and listen to the songs that, whatever you want. The choice is yours. Virgo, the choice is yours. They found that the people who were depressed purposely picked sad images. The people who were not depressed picked lighthearted images. The people who showed signs of depression listened to music that aligned and resonated with depression, music that was sad, that kept them in that vibrational space, that kept them in that lower vibration. People who didn't show signs of depression chose music that was happier and uplifting. Okay? So it sounds hard sometimes to say that depression is a choice, or a lack thereof mentality is a choice. But in a sense, there is no universe, there is no world, outside world, without mind entering into it first. So this is a very big and powerful full moon, especially with Mercury retrograding in Libra, bringing balance to this. What does it feel like to be happy? What does it feel like to be joyous? Am I purposely aligning myself with a lack thereof energy? Am I purposely aligning myself with a lack of confidence energy? Well, this full moon, conjunct Neptune about expansion. How good can things get? How good can things really be? We have the opportunity to turn things around. We have the opportunity right now to do whatever we need to do for our own health, our mental health, the health of our physical body, exercise, breath work, yoga, whatever it may be, some Tai Chi, eating healthy foods. Yeah, Virgo is those good healthy foods, the fruits and vegetables that grow from this land. And Venus in Virgo is saying we value these things, you know? So there's a lot going on here, man. There's a lot going on. Last thing I want to talk about is Pluto. Pluto, Lord of the Underworld, Hades, King of Transformation here in Capricorn, of how we govern ourselves. Well, what is the government? The government is you and I. We are the governing bodies of our land. How we govern ourselves is up for transformation, creating a septile right now to this full moon. Creating a septile here to the moon. The moon is an emotional need. Emotional need to what? An emotional need to find harmony. The emotional need to find abundance. The emotional need to be creative right now. So everything that we're talking about here is re-amplified by Pluto creating this beautiful septile. Again, that septile is an energy that is like the universe giving us a gift. It's a gift from the universe. It's aligning things just right for us. So we have the opportunity to switch. Instead of saying yes, we can say no. Instead of saying no, we can say yes. Instead of whatever it may be. Or we can continue down our path that's whatever's right for us. We get to choose these things. We get to choose to take the uncomfortable steps to be outside of our comfort zone where all the magic happens. This sun, creating that energy to Uranus and the North Node. So very, 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 very powerful full moon happening for us today, friends. So whatever you do with yourselves, know that you're making the right decision. Know that you're exactly where you need to be. And whatever you decide to do from that point on, it's up to you and how you want to view this beautiful world that we live in. Till next time, happy full mooning.